be 7-7. Ugh. Let's just hope the Redskins beat the Eagles, go 8-7, clinch the division, rest their guys. They win it at 8-8. Just that is what it is. But the way it's been going this year with that division, it should almost pick the Eagles actually to win that game against the Redskins, just because it complicates everything, and that's what that division is this year, is complicated. And then your wild card teams are the Seahawks at 9-5 with the tiebreaker over the Vikings at 9-5, and the only other team that has a chance at a wild card is the Falcons at 7-7. They would have to win out, the Vikings would have to lose out, and the Seahawks would have to lose out. That is the only way the Falcons get in, the only way the Vikings don't get in. So there's your 1 in a million. And your NFC head coaches that are on the hot seat or should be on the hot seat out east. Everyone that's not last named Gruden. Chip Kelly should be on the hot seat. Tom Coughlin should be on the hot seat. And Jason Garrett should be on the hot seat. In the West, maybe Jeff Fisher with the Rams, but I don't think so personally. In the North, I've Caldwell with the Lions, but they have turned it around since they fired their OC and named Jim Bob Cooter the new OC. They've got a string here. Bears with John Fox, they're not going to be firing him. And then you go to the South, where you got the Falcons with a first-year guy, Bucks maybe with Lovie Smith, but I think being around 500 with a rookie quarterback, I don't think that's going to get you fired. Saints, Sean Payton, maybe 5-9, high expectations. He could have a good job somewhere else. He might be one of the few that goes. So you've got. In the NFC, all you've really got is those NFC East guys and then maybe Sean Payton. In the South for coaches on the hot seat. So there, boom, we got all that in. All right. Open-minded spewing is officially done. We're super quickying it in here for the rest of the show. Let's go to NCAA football. All right, so college bowl season has officially started. I'm not going to win my $1 million. I got a couple picks wrong already. But let's just go through them in chronological order quick. The first games we had were on the 19th of December, Saturday. We had 22-ranked Utah beating BYU 35-28 in the Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl. We had Arizona beat New Mexico 45-37 in the Gildan New Mexico Bowl. We had Appalachian State beat Ohio by 2 points. All these games, okay, so 35-28, Utah won. 45-37, Arizona won. Appalachian State beats Ohio 31-29 in the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl. Then we had San Jose State beat Georgia State 27-16 in the AutoNation Cure Bowl. We had Louisiana Tech crush Arkansas State 47-28 in the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Those were all on Saturday the 19th. Then on Monday, December 21st, we had Western Kentucky beat South Florida 45-35 in the Miami Beach Bowl. And then in a game that, dang it, I wanted to pick this. I should have picked this team. I was going to pick this team. I don't know why I didn't. In the Marmot Boca Raton Bowl, we had unranked Toledo win 32-17 over 24th ranked Temple. I knew Temple was on the downslide. I knew Toledo had been a good team in the top 25 this year. I knew I should have picked Toledo. Oh well. Then in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, my personal favorite, my mom will vouch for that to be true, we had Akron defeat Utah State 23-20, so a good game there. Yesterday, Wednesday, December 23rd, we had Boise State destroy Northern Illinois in the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl 55-7. Holy guacamole. And in the GoDaddy Bowl yesterday, we had Georgia Southern crush Bowling Green 58-27. Now today, we've got Middle Tennessee taking on Western Michigan in the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl. I believe that's on here at noon, right, or before noon already here. Yeah, it is 14-10 Middle Tennessee as I look right now. Look for Western Michigan to possibly come back and win that game. I don't know anything about either of these teams. And then also today, in your Christmas Eve night game, going up against NFL football, in the Hawaii Bowl, we've got San Diego State versus Cincinnati. Look for San Diego State to crush. They're 10-3 over 7-5 Cincinnati. All right, then in the other upcoming games until next week's show. All right, so for our other upcoming games, then there is nothing on Christmas Day. Saturday after Christmas Day, though, we get a bunch. We've got the St. Petersburg Bowl featuring Connecticut versus Marshall, taking Marshall all the way in that one. By the way, today I am picking Western Michigan and San Diego State, in case you didn't piece that together. In the Sun Bowl at 2 o'clock on CBS, we got Miami versus Washington State. That's a tough one. Let's go Washington State on that one. Then in the Heart of Dallas Bowl on the 26th at 2:20 p.m. on ESPN, we've got Washington versus USM. We're going USM there. They're 9-4. I like that. In the Pinstripe Bowl on the 26th on ABC, we've got Indiana versus Duke. Definitely taking Duke all the way. And that one, Independence Bowl on the 26th. We've got Tulsa versus Virginia Tech. I like Tulsa. That's a coin flip one there too. Foster's Farm Bowl. Holy cow! We've got 5-7 Nebraska versus 8-4 UCLA. UCLA was in the top 25 quite a bit this year. They beat some good teams. They're 8-4 versus 5-7. Ridiculous. UCLA all the way there. Military Bowl on the 28th. We've got Pittsburgh 8-4 versus 21st ranked Navy. It's the Military Bowl, and you're taking on the Navy. The Navy has to win the Military Bowl. And then here we are, the one you've all been waiting for. In the Quick Lane Bowl, the Minnesota Gophers on December 28th at 5 p.m. take on Central Michigan. Central Michigan is 7-5. Minnesota is 5-7. I don't know, just because I'm from Minnesota, I'm picking Minnesota to win that game. Then in the Armed Forces Bowl, we've got California versus Air Force Academy. Oh man, I'd really like to pick Air Force Academy in that one, but Cal has the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the upcoming draft. They're an actual, normal school, normal college, so we're going Cal. In the Russell Athletic Bowl on the 29th as well, we've got 10th ranked UNC, who totally got hosed. Should have at least had the chance to win that ACC championship, but got referee rammed in the rear. They take on 17th ranked Baylor, who just fell apart their last week of the season. Last week, 2 weeks of the season. We're in the top 5 pretty much all year. I'm picking UNC to win that game. And it's a shame that these two teams have to play in such a crummy bowl. The Russell Athletic Bowl on the 29th of December. Ranked 10 versus 17. Pathetic. In the Arizona Bowl that same day, we've got Nevada versus CSU. Whoever CSU is, we're taking Nevada, because I'm hoping that geographically they're closer to Arizona. And then in the Texas Bowl, we've got 20th ranked LSU versus TTU. LSU big time there. 30th, when I may be doing the show, we've got plenty as well. We've got the Birmingham Bowl, Auburn versus Memphis. Memphis big time there. Belk Bowl, North Carolina State versus what MSU is this? It's not Michigan State. Mississippi State. North Carolina State versus Mississippi State. I don't know. That's a coin flip as well. Mississippi, going with the South. Well, they're both South, I guess. Then we got the Music City Bowl on the 30th. A&M versus Louisville. A&M, Arts and Music, Music City, for sure. Holiday Bowl, December 30th. USC, 25th ranked versus Wisconsin. USC's been a tough team to peg. Wisconsin's got a better record. USC will either win this game big time or they will beat themselves. But so we're going USC. Then on New Year's Day, oh boy, we got 3 games. New Year's Eve Day, excuse me, when I will be doing the show or have the show done by. And then we'll stop there and save the big ones for next week's show. New Year's Eve Day, we've got the Peach Bowl at noon. Houston versus Florida State. Wow, 12-1 Houston, ranked 18. 10-2 should have been playing for their conference championship. Florida State, boy, I think Florida State comes out and makes a statement there. NCAA's hoping that Houston comes out and proves that Florida State had no business playing, shouldn't have been playing. But like I said, it should have been Florida State versus Alabama for that conference championship. I don't know why Florida got it instead. Huge game. Then we've got our 2 first New Year's Eve Day. We've got other than the Peach Bowl, we've got our 2 semifinal games for the championship. The play-in round is that day. The day I'm doing the show. Oh my gosh, we'll be talking about this a ton on next week's show. 4th ranked Oklahoma versus number 1 ranked Clemson. What a screw job. 3 ranked MSU versus 2 ranked Alabama. Alabama wins that easy. That's so rigged. They should have got Oklahoma. and it should be Clemson versus Michigan State. I think Oklahoma beats Clemson. I think Alabama beats Michigan State. Your national championship is going to be Alabama versus Oklahoma. And boom, that's where we leave it. All right, so we're on to our final two quickies. We're going to cut everything but hockey and football this week. So my and possibly your Minnesota Wild, they are coming off of a 2-1 win versus the Montreal Canadiens, a very good team that is on a little bit of a schneid, though. Prior to that, we lost to the Stars 6-3 at home, and we lost to the Predators in Nashville 3-2. Before that, we had a 3-game win streak: Rangers, Canucks, and Sharks. So it seems like, we win a couple, we lose a couple, win a couple, lose a couple. That's okay where we're at this point in the season. Everybody's getting healthy. That was the big key for the Wild, in my opinion, at least at this point. A look at their schedule. Pominville, by the way, is finally scoring. Everybody's producing. Like, Kemper, backup goalie, is playing great. Honestly, don't be too concerned with the wins and losses here right now. Be concerned with just the overall play of individuals and of the lines, and then the health of the team. But so the next game the Wild have coming up is the day after Christmas. They are at XL Center in Minnesota hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins at 7 o'clock. Then 2 days later, on the 28th, they host the Detroit Red Wings at 7 o'clock. And then on New Year's Eve, when the show will be coming to you next, they will be spending New Year's Eve in St. Louis with the Blues. Make your own puns there. All right. Now, the Canadiens, who, as I mentioned, we just beat, they have 43 points on the season, and they're in first place in their conference. The Wild, coincidentally, have 1 point less, 42 on their season, and they're in fourth place in their division. That's because, as we've mentioned many times, as any hockey mind knows, the Western Conference Central Division is just a beast of a division. But let's start there, because that's where my Wild are, and then we'll be done with hockey talk. Balls on ice. We got the Stars, best team in hockey all year this year so far. They have 54 points in first place in the Central, followed by the Blues, 8 points behind at 46. Then the Blackhawks at 44, Wild at 42, Predators at 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your only other team in the 40, we got to go then to the Pacific Division, with the Kings with 42 points in first place there. Pacific Division's awful. At the bottom of the Central would be the Avalanche with 33 and the Jets with 32 points. Then in second place of the Pacific, you've got the Sharks with 36 points. They would be a playoff team right now if the playoffs started today. Canucks battling it out for that final spot with the Avalanche. They got 35. Coyotes got 34. Flames got 34. Oilers with 32. And the Ducks, my freaking, I want to say Stanley Cup pick, are the worst team in the Western Conference with only 30 points. And if it were not for the Columbus Blue Jackets at 29 points out in the Metropolitan in the East, they'd be the worst. But that is, alas, who is the worst team in all of hockey this year thus far. The Columbus Blue Jackets out east in the Metropolitan, they have only 29 points. That division is led by the second best team in all hockey, the Washington Capitals, with 52 points, followed by the Rangers at 44, the Islanders at 43, Devils at 39, Flyers at 37, Penguins at 35, Hurricanes at 31. So the Metropolitan Division's a little bit like the Central Division, as far as East and West goes. But the Atlantic is nothing like the Pacific. Out in the Atlantic, we've got the Canadiens in top with 43 points, followed by the Bruins and Panthers at 42, the Red Wings at 41, the Senators at 40. Great 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-team race there. And then still in it, you've got the Lightning at 37 points, and then the Sabres and Maple Leafs already out of it, 32 and 31 points, respectively. All right, Balls on Ice is done. And lastly, we've got Balls on Dribble before show's over. All right, so the Timberwolves are coming off of 2 consecutive losses. No surprise, considering that yesterday we played the Spurs. We lost at home, and we lost 108-83. Ouch! That's big math to do. Before that, on Monday, the T-Wolves lost to the Celtics in Boston, 113-99. But prior to that, they won 2 games in a row, beating the Kings at home and beating the Nets in Brooklyn. Coming up next for the T-Wolves, we've got the day after Christmas. They will be hosting the Indiana Pacers at 7 o'clock. And then on Monday, we will be in San Antonio taking on the Spurs at 7:30. Next Wednesday, we will be back